Look where I am. I walked all the way with my bicycle in my hand through this empty creek, and I'm now going in here. I've always wanted to go here, and I've looked at this place from up there near that fence. In the winter time, the creek is full with water, and it's just gushing down here. Look, a beautiful flower. And I feel so fortunate that I can be here. Nobody ever comes here, it seems. Because it's hard to get in here. You can see how far away my bicycle is. You have to cover quite a distance to get here. And today I decided to find a way to get down in here, because there's only one access point. Look at this, how beautiful. Wow. So exciting. It's like an adventure to just be here. And at any given time, you know, these formations, they sort of crumble, and then it all comes crashing down. And you can see that in certain places where the whole thing has collapsed. But here it seems pretty stable. Wow, look at this. Big hole here. Holy. Oh, you don't want to fall in there. You might not be able to come out. Ooh. You know, the water, of course, is swirling around in here. Well, this is far enough for today. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I was going to read something to you that I have written, and I might as well just do that here. That's a good place over there on that rock. I'm going to sit on that rock and read my writing to you. As you have hopefully taken note of, I am Maximus Pepperkamp. I am the founder of Languageology, the science of spoken language, which is based on the overt nature of language. Yeah. And in the same way that the water has flown through here, yeah, language has also flown through us and affected us. And depending on how language has impacted us, we are the way we are. And so I was gonna sit on that rock, but I decided I wanted to go somewhere else. Well, there is two different ways of dealing with language, and the way that I'm talking about dealing with language in the way that a person listens to him or herself while he or she speaks. And that is not the way in which we usually deal with our language. Yeah. The way in which we deal with our language is that we do not listen to ourselves. We listen to each other. We make other people listen, but we are not listening to ourselves. And so, disembodied language is the way of talking in which we do not listen to ourselves. And embodied language is the way of talking in which we listen to ourselves. Do you see this? This is where the side of the gully collapses after erosion. And I am going to sit here and read to you my writing about embodied language, because I have on my Substack account and on my YouTube channels and on my X account, I have let everybody know that on the 4th of July, on Independence Day, I will be available again, because I wasn't available before, but I will be available again to have embodied language with those who are able to have embodied language. And I cannot have embodied language for anybody. I only have embodied language for myself, and everybody else can only have embodied language for themselves. So I'm going to read to you, this is the 4th day before 4th of July. So you have 4 more days to experiment with this. But here's what I wrote this morning about, what I was able to write about today. Let me just put on my glasses. Unless you meet the required standard, there's no way for you to have embodied language. There's no way for you to have embodied language with yourself or with someone else. Both go together, because you treat others always as you treat yourself. With disembodied language, however, the way of talking in which you do not listen to yourself, your usual way of talking, your involuntary, usual, coercive way of talking, with disembodied language, you falsely believe that you meet yourself differently, that you treat yourself differently from how you treat others. So you make it seem in your usual way of talking as if you treat others differently from yourself, but that's not true. Your pretension, because that's what you do with disembodied language, you pretend to treat other people differently from how you treat yourself. Your pretension keeps being unaddressed as long as you don't speak with yourself in order to be able to listen to yourself. Yes, unless you speak in precisely such a manner that you can say and that you will say what you like to hear. Unless you say what you like to hear, you continue to make it seem as if there is an inner you who presumably does the speaking. The inner speaker who tells you how to speak. You make it seem as if there is an inner speaker who does the speaking and the listening, an inner listener who does the listening. The inner listener who supposedly says, you must pay attention, you must be a better listener. Well, there is no such thing as an inner speaker. There is no such thing as an inner listener. So, I want to read it again because, of course, I elaborate. Yes, unless you speak in precisely such a manner that you can and will say what you like to hear, you continue to make it seem as if there is an inner you who presumably does the speaking and the listening, and you inadvertently treat others as if they have an inner behavior regulating self inside of themselves as well. So, when you believe that you have an inner self, you treat others also as if they have an inner self. And your inability to be who you are is because you use your language to support your illusion of inner language, your so-called mind. But the reality is, with disembodied language, you always continue to neglect your individually lived experience because your disembodied language is dissociative in that it cannot express your individually lived experience but only your illusion of inner language. And when I talk about your illusion of inner language, your mind, I am saying that you believe in who you are inwardly, but you are disconnected from the overt nature of language. Moreover, your illusion of inner language, your belief that there is language inside of you and there is no language inside of you. There are no thoughts. That's just the way we talk. When I say to you, what do you think? You start to talk, and you only know about your so-called thoughts because you talk, because you write about it. But there's no inner thought. There's no inner language. It never was there. And so this illusion of inner language, which is created by your disembodied language, it also contains the illusion of an external environment. Yes. The illusion of inner language contains the illusion of an external environment where you, as a speaker, believe there is another person who speaks. But no, it is always you who speaks and it is you who listens. It is you who is describing this other person, experiencing this other person. It is you who neurally behaves that other person. It is you who I neurally behave this environment. I behave this environment. I behave my bicycle. I behave my reality. And I describe my individually lived experience correctly with my embodied language. But you, with your disembodied language, believe in inner language, which does not exist. So your reality is incorrectly described, and therefore your language works against you by making it seem as if it is inner. No, there is no inner language. So once you got that right, the illusion of an external environment, that there is me and you, me as the speaker inside of me, and you as the speaker inside of you, or you as the listener inside of you. There is no listener inside of you who listens to this. There's only listening. And there's no speaker inside of me who speaks. There's only speaking. And there is no inner language. So The illusion of an external environment, that there is an inner environment, what I am on the inside, what I say to myself inside my head, and what is here outside of me. That's an illusion. There's only my language which correctly describes this experience of being here. Do you see this? And do you notice how quiet it is here? Yeah, you don't hear a peep. It is so silent here, so beautifully silent. I love it here. Very nice place to be here today. 4 days before the 4th of July. To encourage you to get rid of this notion of inner language. Just drop it. Just say to yourself, it is not true. There is no inner language. There cannot be physiologically inner language. Yeah, physiologically means that you have to move your mouth to produce words. You have to spend breath going out to pronounce these words. Move your lips, move your tongue. So these words, also if you write them, you have to move your hands or you have to type on your keyboard. These words, they are the consequence of your neural behavior. And so without you neurally behaving correctly, so to speak, so that you write the words that you want to write and that you say the words that you want to say, there is no way for you to produce correct language. And so the correct use of language is, of course, the language in which you read what you write and in which you listen to what you say. Because if there is no listening to what you're saying and no reading of what you're writing, you might as well just write gobbledygook or speak nonsense. Yeah. So the illusion of an external environment is pure nonsense. Yeah. There is no inner and no outer. There's only your language which describes inner and outer. And without your language, there would not be any inner or outer. Yeah? And language is overt. So language is not inner. Language is always audible. It's always observable. It's always readable. Yeah? I speak and you can hear it. You speak, you can hear it. You write and you can read it. There is no inner language and there is no external environment. So it kind of goes together, right? That there is no inner language and there is no external environment. I hope you get that. And, of course, the illusion of inner language contains this illusion of an external environment, but also the illusion of lost communality. Lost communality, yes, that is that you and I can be together, that we can be in a group, that we can be in a community, in a team, in a collective. We want to so badly belong, go back to a sense of togetherness, and yet when we're looking at the correct use of language, we realize everything is either correctly or incorrectly described by our overt language. And as long as you believe in inner language, as long as you believe in an external environment, the other people, there is again this illusion of the lost communality. You will forever long to belong. You will forever try to create unity with others, togetherness with others. But no, that is not what the correct use of language is about. Embodied language is not about unity with others. Embodied language is about you as a speaker being your own listener. And the speaker and the listener is one and the same person. So speaking and listening co-occur simultaneously at the exact same rate. There's no inner speaker, there's no inner listener, there is no inner language. And so the illusion of inner language contains the illusion of an external environment. It contains the illusion of lost communality. And then we come to the final illusion. There is a fourth illusion, yeah, which is called the illusion of eternal continuity. We have somehow, because of our disembodied language, this belief, this assumption that we are immortal. And our belief in being immortal, it expresses itself in our tenacious tendency to believe that we will always remain the same, that everything will always be what it is and what it... And it's just absolutely not true. Things will change, and once you begin to have embodied language, you'll notice everything is continuously new. And that is because you are alive with your language. Yeah? And your language accurately describes your individually lived experience. And yes, there's no more illusion of eternal continuity, because you're only here for the moment. And yes, you know, there was the other day here in Chico a shooting, and 2 people got killed and somebody got injured, a child got injured. In the library in Chico. I could have been there, my wife could have been there. It's incomprehensible that something like that can just happen. And yeah, there was a terrible earthquake in Venezuela. Thousands of people died. Yeah, calamities happen, and we are only here for the time being. Yeah, for the time being, meaning our life is not forever. But we are here, yeah? And our language is addressing that correctly or not, yeah? Our language expresses that we are here correctly or not. And if we are correctly expressing our individually lived experience, then then our embodied language keeps on going, and then we are expressing our language enlightenment. And so when it is 4th of July, we are not bothered by any of these illusions, and we are just going to have embodied language which expresses our language enlightenment.